Alright, let's go over these patch notes. So as expected, Air and Empath both got nerfed. So at 3, 5, and 7 combos for basically everything they give has been nerfed. So the dodge that the allies and the air units themselves get has been nerfed quite significantly. The energy debuff that they give the enemy team has also been nerfed quite heavily. Having 3 air, 3 empath was probably where it was quite OP because it was very easy to get and did a significant amount. So that's been reduced to 20. With the empaths, the allied shields, so same thing. The shields that they give each other and allies have been reduced, as well as the healing efficiency that they give themselves and allies. That's been reduced at all stages. So we'll see how this plays out. I think potentially this could nerf them out of the meta completely, but we'll see how this plays out. I think air, potentially water and invoker will make a comeback, so maybe air will still be good for this energy debuff. So they also nerfed Arcanite, and this is probably targeted at the Phosphorus. Well, it is targeted at the Phosphorus and Scoriox. So the attack speed that they get at all three stages again has been nerfed, as well as the duration. So it only lasts 4 seconds now at each stage. I think this was needed. I think Phosphorus and Scoriox are both very good at the moment, and especially since they're pretty much always in the same team, given they're both Arcanite. So Illuvials, I'm not sure what the Taipan line is, but it's a slash damage radius has been reduced, and the Terror Bird, I'm assuming this is targeted at or referring to the Phosphorus. The energy cost for his Omega has probably increased to 78. That's how I interpret that, and I think that's fair. He was casting his Omega pretty fast, and it was doing a lot of damage even without augments on him. The tier 0 Illuvials have been nerfed. We knew this was coming as well. Their max HP, resistance, and attack damage has been reduced by 10%. So I think this is huge. I think this will completely change hopefully change the way people are playing or even building their whole teams, because at the moment it's far better in most cases to have like 5 or 6 of your Illuvials just be the 0 cost for the classes and affinities, and then get a couple of high tier Illuvials. But we all want to see those really high tier Illuvials played more often, right? Augments, they've just fixed all these augments that were triggering the on crit effect multiple times a second. So they put an internal cooldown on that at half a second. You will have half a second before you get the benefit from the crit again. This is mostly targeted at, say, Umbre or especially Scoriox. So we've already had an Arcanite nerf and this augment nerf, both which would nerf the meta build of Scoriox at the moment and the Phosphorus. The biogenetic suppressor has been nerfed, so this reduced the people are mostly using it to reduce the energy efficiency of the opponent. So that's been nerfed quite a bit at all. I think that was definitely needed. So hopefully water and invoker can make a bit of a comeback. And this will also soften the nerf to Empath as well, because this was a counter to Empath. So we'll see if this helps Empath still be relevant. Purification Catalyst was nerfed. This gave an area, grit, or resolve around the Illuvial you put it on. So that's been nerfed. That was useful in the Empath build. You would sit in a pile and you could give yourself grit and resolve fairly easily and cheaply. Siphon Matrix, this is the one that gives an area attack speed slow or energy drain around the Illuvial that you put it on. So this has been nerfed decent amount, and I think it definitely needed to, because you could stack these attack speed slows on one Illuvial or one of the enemy Illuvials, and they could barely attack. Photon Ripper has had its crit and pure damage nerfed. Yeah, I think this was needed. I mean, it nerfs anyone that used it, but the Scoriox was definitely getting a lot of use out of it, so it's nerfed him again. Charge capacitor, the energy gain has been reduced, so this gives you energy gain at the start of combat. So a lot of people were using it on Ramp Fire. That would give him 60 plus 45 energy at the start, and he would basically insta cast his Omega. I think this is a needed nerf, mostly because they've also nerfed the ability to reduce energy gain of the Ramp Fire. So they've nerfed this a bit, but they've also buffed the Ramp Fire in the sense that this won't nerf him as much. This won't decrease his capabilities as much. Synaptic Boost was apparently bugged, so this is Scoriox and Umbre again. On Takedown, they were having the attack speed stacking. Every time they got a takedown, they gained attack speed, and that was stacking. So now it just refreshes the duration of that attack speed buff. So there's just a few bugs here that are relevant. I'll go over them. They fixed true sight behavior. So now if you have true sight on yourself, you'll no longer be able to be dodged. So this is pretty crucial against dodge-based teams. You have an augment that you can bring to counter it. This is an interesting one. So they've updated the Ascendant video tutorial. So the link now works accurately, but they've added a little surprise for the curious minds hidden in an undisclosed location. So I'm sure we'll all be clicking on that to see what the hell they're talking about. All the rest of the bugs are just regular bugs that had no effect on gameplay. So all in all, I think that's a really good patch. I pretty much agree with everything, and I'm very interested to see how the meta plays out. I think this really changes everything. Tier 0 Illuvials, I mean, we're all going to have to wait and see how this all feels, and if we need to change anything to our team builds, which I'm sure we will have to. We'll see if Empath Air is still relevant. We'll see if Scoriox Phosphorus is still relevant. I think the Phosphorus Scoriox will still be viable. It just won't be as broken. Maybe you go more towards Bloom instead of Arcanite. We'll see. But I'm definitely interested to see how Water, Invoker, and Fire plays out, to see if they make a comeback into the meta. But let me know down below what you think, and if you appreciated that rundown, make sure to like and subscribe.